Hey everyone, and welcome to our Business Babies and Boundaries training call that we are doing tonight. You are going to get to hear from 4 top diamonds, all of which we have different stories, right? Some of us were working full-time before as we were growing our way to Emerald. Some of us were stay-at-home moms. Some of us were single moms. Some of us were stay-at-home moms who were organized. Some of us were stay-at-home moms who were disorganized. And so you are going to get to hear 4 different personalities, 4 different stories, 4 different journeys. But what we all have in common is that we were able to grow our businesses to the top. We're all diamonds, but we also all have a thriving home life and a thriving business. So many times we believe the lie that you have to choose one or the other. And with this business model, you no longer have to choose. It can be both, and it does not have to be either or. So many of you are fired up. You are excited. You are ready to run your business. But you might have a few hesitations wondering, how am I going to be able to do it? How am I going to be able to be a present mom? And how am I able to grow a successful business? And so if you've ever had those doubts or those fears or those thoughts run through your head, first of all, it's totally normal. And so we're here to share with you our stories to just breathe belief into you that you can do it too, but we're also going to accompany those stories with tips for success. And what are some things that we did to be able to be that present mom and have that successful business? And all of our journeys and all of our tips look different. So there might be something that someone says tonight that really resonates with you and you're like, oh, I want to implement that. I want to try that. There might be something else where you're like, that's not for me. And that is totally okay. We're here to kind of just share all of our ideas, all of our tips on that, and you take out of it what you think is going to be most beneficial for you to be able to grow your thriving business and have an amazing home life. So our very first guest tonight, she is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. She is like a sister to me. Her name is Elita Langford. And I love her story because she is such an overcomer. She's amazing. And when she first got started with this business on her journey to Emerald, she was a single widowed mom. She has walked through so many journeys, so many paths, and her life looks very, very different today than it did when she first got started with this. So whatever season of life you find yourself in, there's always going to be someone who is going to see exactly what you have, that someone might use it as an excuse. They're going to use that same thing to propel them closer to their dreams. So you have the choice. You can either see these obstacles and things that are going to stop you along the way, or you can see that and you can say, nope, I'm going to use that as a reason to propel me forward. And I have watched firsthand Elita do that in her life, and she is living out her dream life today. So go ahead, Elita, take it away.
Well, I love you. Number one, you're adorable. And I think it's hilarious that we're doing babies, boundaries, and business. And I'm literally like days from giving birth. So if I sound out of breath, that's why, because I am. That's true. So Megan, thank you so much. Thank you for having this brilliant idea to have this, because I would have done anything to hop on something like this and say, just tell me what to do. I always knew that I wanted more. I didn't know how it was going to come. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't have all the understandings of what I was getting into, or really knowing what it would really take to get to this place. So I want to take you back 8 years ago in May. My friend Jennifer Leith had reached out to me for 18 months. She said, I see you making your cheese and doing cheese classes. I see you trying to do extra for your family. I see you trying to sell coffee beans you roasted in your cement roaster in your backyard. I see you doing these things to bring in extra income while you're homeschooling and you're farming and you're doing all these things. I have a better option. And I would smile and I'd be like, she likes me. Like, she thinks I'm cool. She wants to be on her team. I have no idea, but I'd be like, no, thanks. It's not for me. 18 months. I want you to picture that. Could you imagine like talking to someone for 18 months about this? She bought a cow from me. She's like, you should do this with me. So I decided, I'll never forget, all of a sudden I was just like, I want to try these products. I researched them like a crazy person. And I found sustainably sourced, amazing ingredients that I was spending way more money on mixing them up, and they tasted horrific. Okay. These tasted amazing. They were way more affordable. And I got a 60-day money back guarantee. I was like, there's literally a no-brainer. And so we started to take the products. I started sharing. Within 7 days, I was just like, I'm actually slip and sliding with my kids. I feel great. I started sharing, and about 6 months into my journey or so, I unexpectedly lost my husband. I had 4 kids under the age of 6. My littlest baby was nursing. My husband passes away. Has been just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I am life insurance-less. Okay, I had no life insurance, and I had a farm full of animals, and I'm not an animal person. So it was a long road ahead. And I make light of it because I know that it's a heavy topic, but here's the thing is there's no comparing hard to hard. Everybody's hard is hard in that moment. And I can tell you, having built this business, married, widowed, single, and married again, it is hard. It is hard at all of those times. It is also a joy in all of those times if you choose to see it. I chose to look at it like I was going to climb Mount Everest. I was going to do this. I wanted more for my family. I wanted my kids, most importantly, and this always makes me emotional, but what I wanted most was my children to rise and call me blessed, to look and say she walked this out with grace, to say she overcame, to say, look what she did. And if she can do it, so can I. I wanted to impact my friends. I wanted my life to matter. And at the end of the day, that's all we ever want. No amount of money, no amount of free trips and free cars are going to fill that void, but significance will. And when you really can join arms with somebody and say, I'm going to make a difference in your life, in your health, and in your wellness, and in your finances, it is like the best, most addicting, most amazing feeling on the planet. And I'm telling you, that changed everything for me. So I built to Senior Ruby. And then 3 months later, I just decided, I was like, I drew my line in the sand, and I was like, we're going Emerald. We were Emerald 3 months later. 15 months into my journey in total is how long it took me to go Emerald, which is our 6-figure place. And I just found that it was a game changer for my family. I was able to put my kids in private school. I was able to buy a house for myself. I was able to not settle down quickly. I'm going to talk to my single mamas out there, because nobody on this planet can convince me there's a harder job on earth than being a single full-time mom. And so what it gave me was options to have help. I don't like laundry. I don't like cleaning my house. I want to have fun. And I chose to spend my money on those things to allow me to work my business more and really enjoy my children and enjoy my single life that I was experiencing. So, and now I'm married. It's been 3.5 years, pregnant with our 9th child. And it is also incredible when blending a family to have income. Money gives you choices. Money gives you options. It's changed everything. So before I turn it over, I wanted to give practical things of what I actually did to take me to this place, to take me to the place of freedom, to take me to the place of joy in my business, to take me to the place of really believing that I could do this. The first thing I did was I got very serious and very clear about my why. Why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? Because when the hard days come, when life happens, right? I need to know what I'm pulling from. What am I doing this for? So when my husband passed away, when my mom passed away, when my dad passed away 6 months after that, I had to have a really strong why to keep going. When kids are driving you crazy, you got to know why you're doing it. 2, I got really clear on what plexus, the needs it filled for people. I got really clear on how to share the business opportunity, on really going after people and saying, Megan Malakovic, you could do this. You could be silver. Cheryl Muller, you're a certified accountant with your own business. I know this would be, you'd be amazing at this. I got very clear about it and I built my confidence by practicing talking to people. I did it messy. I embraced the suck and I did it anyway. The first time someone said, what's plexus? I hung up the phone on them. I panicked. I was like, I don't even know how to explain this. I hung the phone up. I called back and I straight up lied. I was like, the service, I don't know what happened. This is crazy because I panicked. Okay. But the thing is, I kept going and I kept trying. So I got clear on how it was helping. I got very invested in personal growth. I really started to focus on becoming a master of my mind and really understanding what it was, not only like where I was going, which is important, but also where I was thinking. I had Post-it notes everywhere. I had, whiteboards everywhere that just said, what am I focusing on? Who am I? You could put your favorite scriptures, your favorite quotes, your favorite whatever. Right now I'm in a Rocky Balboa phase. I love Rocky. I love it so much. Watch something that inspires you, that makes you feel like I can do this. I can climb those stairs. I can climb that mountain. Because here's what I know for certain. I don't know a lot of things, but what I do know for sure is that complainers are not obtainers and whiners will never win. They're not winners. So if you're complaining and you're whining, that head trash is going to stop you from obtaining and winning. So I got really serious about that. I got into action. Number 4 was I got into action. I got serious about doing the things. Me, Jennifer Leith, and Lisa Youngs, another Emerald on my team, we hosted, I think, the very first online Facebook event the Plexus ever had. We had no agenda. We just threw stuff up there. We were like, well, here we go. Like, why not? And it was hilarious, but we did it. We just got into action. We got excited about what we had to share. And then my last thing is authentic passion. Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. If you know where you're going, not a no, not a, I don't think so, not a, that's crazy. You're drinking the pink Kool-Aid. Nothing can stop you. You become unstoppable when you genuinely know that you are purposed to do more for your family, that you are purposed to do more for your community, that you can use this as a vehicle to give back, that you can use this as a vehicle to pay off student loan debts, to help single moms, to give to charities, to pay off your church, to pay for adoptions. It gives you an incredible resource. And that is what I'm so, so grateful for. So become a master of what you're doing. Educate yourself, know about the industry, listen to stuff like this. Speaking of masters of the industry, masters of just all things Plexus, this woman is a mentor. She's amazing. She's a 5-star diamond, emerald. Okay, let me say that again. 5-star diamond / emerald / married to a diamond husband. Also has a mom of 2 kids and was a teacher for 19 years. She has the biggest heart. She is so precious. I love everything she says, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear from her. So Miss Christine, would you take over from here?
I am here for it. So I need everybody to take a deep breath because I'm getting ready to light your fire tonight. I am so excited to share with you all. I have a lot of people from my own personal team that are on here, and so they're like, we've literally already heard the story, but they're here for the other 3 stories. So those of you who don't know me, I am going to bring a little bit of fire tonight. I am not a fluffer at all. I just speak it straight. So if you're going to get your feelings hurt, you might want to take 10 minutes off and get back on later. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. That's not going to help you grow. It's not going to help you achieve. It's not going to help you have success in any way. My story is completely different than Elita. I am like the geriatric speaker tonight. I am 51. I live in Oklahoma. I've lived here my entire life. I am way more introverted than extroverted, but don't be confused by that. I love people. I love to talk. I love to train, and I love to encourage other people. And that's why I was a teacher for 19 years. I taught kindergarten and first grade. I am a mom to 2 girls. When I started Plexus a little over 9 years ago, so back in 2014, I had an 8-year-old and a 14-year-old. Those girls are now 17 and 23. They have grown up in Plexus, and their vision for what their life can be has been greatly impacted by what I have demonstrated through my actions to them. And so, mamas, I just want you to know that what you're doing is worthwhile. It's not just bringing home the bacon and frying it up. You are inspiring your children to rise up in the future. They are watching you build a business that is a legacy. So when it's hard, and it will be, you have to press in and realize that this is so much bigger than just the monthly check or the trip or the free Lexus. Those are all great perks. But for me, when I hear my daughter say, Mom, I know because I watched you leave teaching and I watched you come over here and do something that was so different than anything you went to college to do or anything that you would have done naturally. And I've seen you do it, and I've seen you impact people, and I've heard the way that people talk about you. I know that I can do anything I want. That, my friends, is the kind of legacy that we're leaving for our children. So I need to empower you tonight to dig in. Whatever excuse you have, you got to lose it. Okay. One of the phrases that people get triggered on, and I'm going to say it, is that everybody has the same 24 hours. And there's always a but I have 400 children, but I have, the groceries to do, and I have the dishes, and I have the laundry, and I have a full-time job, and I have a blah, blah, blah. We all have it. Okay. But the truth is that we really do have the same 24 hours. So when I started building my business, I was teaching full-time. My husband was working at American Airlines. He was a mechanic for almost 33 years. And he was on afternoon shifts. Sometimes he was on day shift. His shifts changed all the time. So the months that he was on afternoons, I was a single mom, providing for my family, also teaching. I was not a beginning bell to ending bell teacher. I was a 60-hour-a-week teacher because I gave it all I had. I loved every second of it and never thought I would do anything besides teaching, because I felt like that was what I was supposed to be doing. And it was, and it still is. But now I teach adults. Now I inspire adults and mentor adults, but I'm still using all of the education and all of the experience that God gave me. But I had to carve out some time. As busy as I was, I had to figure out, looking at my days, where are some times that I can carve out? Let me explain to you that you can absolutely do this business present as a mom and a wife. You absolutely can, but in the same sentence, I will tell you, you will, if you are planning to become a diamond, you will have to make some small sacrifices along the way. The sacrifices that you're going to make are completely up to you. If you want to become a diamond in 3 years, you're going to have to make more sacrifices than someone that wants to become a diamond in 20. It is how much work you're willing to do that equates to how fast you're going to get where you want to go. And I adopted this phrase early on, as soon as I caught the true vision for what this could be, that a year or two of sacrifice for a lifetime of freedom was a no-brainer. And I held on to that phrase the entire first year that I did Plexus. It took me 13 months to go emerald, 7 additional months to go sapphire, and 4 additional months to go diamond. So I hit diamond exactly 2 years into my journey. And that was 2 years of my life that I had to make some small sacrifices to get where I knew that I was supposed to go. Now, you might be thinking, what are those small sacrifices? Well, and this is not to trigger anyone. I'm not calling anybody out because I don't know your business. But I was watching TV. Okay. I would come home. That was my chill time, my downtime. I used to even call it quality time with my husband. Y'all, seriously, if you're watching TV with your husband, that is not quality time. I mean, you can call it that if it makes you feel comfortable, but that ain't quality time with your husband. Okay. So quit using that as an excuse. Own what it is. It's you wanting downtime for yourself. That's what watching TV is, right? And all I was doing was just trying to devoid myself of the reality of all the things that I really should be doing, right? I can't believe I'm going to actually say this, but I am, and it's being recorded. Somebody's going to use this against me in a court of law someday. I know it. But I was truly addicted to Young and the Restless, trash TV, right? I recorded it every single day. I would come home. I could fast forward through commercials and get through it in 40 minutes. Okay. I'm like, how is that helping me move the needle on my dreams and my legacy? Zero return on that time. Zero. What if instead I took 40 minutes that I was already blowing off, wasn't spending quality time with anyone, and started working my business during those 40 minutes? And I did. I still don't watch Young and the Restless after 9 years. It does not add value to my life. It honestly sets up unrealistic expectations for what my husband should be doing, right? It's absolutely what it does. So I gave that up and I've never taken it back. The other thing that I sacrificed was sleep. Now, I love sleep. I really like to get 9 hours a night. When I was teaching, I was more like 8 hours a night. But you know what? I wasn't willing to give up a lot more of my family time because I was already a working mom. I was already giving up so much time. I didn't want to take additional time away from my family. So what was something that I could sacrifice that wouldn't also be a sacrifice for them? And I will say, I'm not saying I never sacrifice time with them, but I'm talking about like on a weekly basis. Okay. So I started giving up an hour of sleep. And I thought, if I work really, really, really hard and I get to Emerald in a year, then it will be worth it. Right. And then I can like put some time back into my sleep pattern. And I didn't die, y'all. I'm still alive and well, but I did give that time up. I would get up an hour earlier and I would do really intentional tasks. I would do reach outs. I would plan my posts for the day because I'm not on my phone while I'm at school, right? Except at lunch and on my planning period. So I had to plan my posts so they'd just be ready for me to copy, paste, and post. And then I answered any messages that had come over the night. And then I usually did like a team post or something like that. I got everything ready in that hour. And I think it made all the difference. And then Saturday mornings was my only day to sleep in because we got up early on Sunday for church. So it was literally Saturday was my sleep in day. I sacrificed it for a whole year. I got up before anyone in my family and I had a good solid 3 hours to work. And that's when I did like my training videos, or I was reading professional development books, or I was doing massive reach outs and follow-ups during that time. And I would chunk it. So you have to look at your life, your schedule, and you have to decide what makes sense for you and your family. Because what makes sense for my family with my kids that age may look completely different for you. Maybe you have little ones that go down for a nap. You need to use that time. I know you want to go sit on the couch and just chill out. I know you don't want to fold laundry. So use this as, I'm going to do this instead of folding the laundry. I mean, I can make an excuse. Vicki Gray is on here right now. She knows my struggle with laundry. She gives me such a hard time, but I still hate laundry. I literally despise it. I have to be so intentional. Vicki, all my laundry's put away. I just want you to know. So I am telling you, you can make that time, but you have to decide if you are going to stay where you are, or if you want to move the needle forward on your legacy. The thing is, y'all, you have to get over the fear, whatever it is, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of leadership, the fear of success, whatever it is, you got to get over it because abundance is waiting on the other side of that fear. Do you know what else is waiting on the other side of the fear? Is a true purpose. It's your freedom to live and walk in your purpose. What is keeping you from doing that is fear and excuses and comparison to other people. So I left teaching. My husband told me I could leave teaching when I went Emerald, and he didn't believe that I would be Emerald, just so we're real clear when he told me that, because then as soon as I hit Emerald, I'm like, I'm leaving teaching. He's like, well, it's too bad. You said I could leave when I got Emerald, so I'm doing it. I resigned at Emerald and came home after 1 year with Plexus, and my business has done nothing but thrive since then. I am still all in. If I could give you one tip right now, besides all the other things I just said, it's this. Be in the trenches with your team. You have to lead by example. The speed of your team is based on your speed as the leader. If you're expecting them to do X, Y, and Z, you best be doing it right alongside of them because they're following and watching you every step of the way. I am still in the trenches with my team, and I am going to stay in the trenches because that is where God would have me right now. So I'm going to hush now, and I get to pass it back to Megan, mom of 3 boys. Number 4 is on the way. Did you know Megan went diamond before she hit 30? And the month that she went diamond, she actually double ranked sapphire and then diamond all in the same month. And here's a crazy cool fact. She never really wanted to work, but here we are. Plexus fell into her lap. Take it away, sister.
Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so fired up and I'm like, wow, okay, how do I follow her? Because she's so freaking amazing. Like, we love you. We're obsessed with you. We think you're amazing, Christine. So thank you for sharing all of those things and for lighting a fire under us tonight. So like Christine said, my whole goal, like my entire life since I was really little, was to be a mom. Like, I never had aspirations of like having this big corporate job and climbing the corporate ladder. Actually, in fact, when my husband and I got married, I told him, hey, honey, I just want you to know that I'm not cut out for the workforce. I'm not made for a 9-to-5, and I will never work. I told him that. And he said, that's fine. I said, I want to stay at home and I want to raise babies. And that's exactly what I was doing before Plexus. I was living, that was my dream. You guys, I always wanted to stay at home with my babies. I was doing that and I loved it. But there was a big but there. Part of it was kind of lonely. I found myself really craving community with my little kids at home. And my husband unexpectedly lost his job. So here we are. I have no work experience. Okay. And I didn't want to work. And he had a really stable job, loved to work, and he lost it. And because of that, our kids ended up on Medicaid. And so when we found Plexus, mind you, we made fun of it for a long time. It even took me 5 months to go silver. And so there was like, in the beginning, I wasn't 100% like, I'm jumping on board with this. But when I realized what this opportunity was and what it could truly mean for my family, I was all in. I was so tired of watching my husband stress out because of money. He was up early. He was up late. He was making all kinds of sacrifices. He was taking on clients that he shouldn't have been taking on. And he was stressed to the max. His health, like, he was just so stressed out. If you've ever seen your husband stressed out because of finances and he's trying to figure out how to provide for your family, like, it is a lot. It's a lot that they carry on their shoulders. And I never ever thought that I was going to be the one who was going to radically change the finances in our family. But I saw this opportunity and I thought, just maybe this could be the thing that God could use to completely change our life. And so I bet on myself. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to draw my line in the sand. I went out to convention with a baby a week before I decided I was going to go. I went out to Vegas. And while I was there, that's really where I saw the whole vision for what this could be. And I heard all of these people have, speak on, they were top earners and they were sharing about how, some had less than 200 friends on Facebook and one was an introvert and one was that. And I just realized in that moment that if they could be successful at this, then I could be successful at this too. And I hit the ground running. As soon as I came home, we went Emerald that next year. Then 2 years later, we went diamond and sapphire, and our lives radically changed. You guys, like I said, I had no work experience. I take that back. If you count the 6 months that I worked as a barista in college, that was all my work experience, you guys. Okay. Like, I wasn't coming in here being like, I am a wonderful network marketer. I know how to do all these things. I have great business skills. I mean, there was one night that I came down the stairs and I was crying. And I looked at my husband and I said, work is hard. And he said, well, of course it is, Megan. And I was like, but I've never experienced that. I didn't understand the grind. I didn't understand any of these things, but a passion lit inside of me. Not only did I know that I was going to radically change my family's life, But I knew that I was going to change my kids' lives. And that's what really drove me every single day, because my kids, my youngest was 1 at the time, and my oldest was 3. They're now 9 and 7, and my little one is 4, and I'm pregnant with my 4th. Like, they don't know life before Plexus. And I love that because they don't remember the struggles, right? They see a life where mom and dad are home, right? They don't remember the days that they used to stand there at the door and cry because their dad had to go to work every single day and work in an office. Like, they don't remember those times. I do. And I remember promising them, I will bring your dad home. I will do that. I'm going to change our family. We paid off our $100,000 in student loan debt in 15 months. We had so many dreams when we first got married of things that we wanted to do, and they all went by the wayside because we were in survival mode, and so we stopped dreaming. And so Plexus gave us that gift back, and since then we have been able to cross off our dream board 3 times over. You guys, we're literally living our dream right now. We always wanted to be close to my parents in Tennessee. We moved, we live next door. Okay, I always had visions because we never every place we lived, it wasn't ours, or it was in a townhouse, we couldn't have a playground. I always had these visions of this massive playground, like custom built for my kids. When we moved out here to Tennessee 3 years ago, we built that mega playground. And I will tell you, they have so much fun on that thing. Their friends have fun on it. We cash flowed a gorgeous pool last summer. We host parties all the time. Like, all of these things that I wanted, we now have, but it didn't come without sacrifice. Okay. And a word that I actually love using even more than that is trade-offs, because it wasn't like that forever. You know, it was a short-term sacrifice, long-term gain in what we made. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. But there were certain things that I had to give up for a season in order to change my family's life forever. There are certain things like your sleep or your comfort zone or this, that, and the other thing that you're unwilling to give up right now. And it's costing you your future. Like, how bad do you want that life, a different life for you, your family, your kids, where there's freedom, where there's options, where you're not living by somebody else's rules, where you get to make them up yourself? That's really what it's about, you guys. It's not even necessarily about the money. True financial freedom is about doing what you want to be able to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and how often you want to do it. Like, that is the true freedom of having those options. So for me, I'm going to be honest, because I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and I didn't have any work experience. I struggled a little bit in the beginning. I struggled with the mom guilt so bad because I truly believed at my core that you could not have a successful business and be a great mom. I believe that lie. I think it's why I never wanted to work, because I didn't believe that you could have both. And what I learned is that that is a lie, that you can absolutely have both. You can be a fully present mom and have a thriving business. But I had to overcome a lot of that self-sabotage. So many times I would feel that mom guilt when I would be working or doing something else. But what I had to remind myself is that I was doing this for my kids, that the mindset work that I was doing, I'm shaping their life and their future. My kids have affirmations on their mirror in their bathroom. And you know what? They say them all the time. And when they are scared, like, I'll never forget my little guy, he was jumping off the high dive and he was so scared. And I could hear him saying to himself, I am brave, I am strong, I am smart, I am creative, I am loved. And he jumped because I tell them that every day. They see me doing affirmations about myself and they start telling them things. You know, they can quote Les Brown to you. They can say all of these different things because they've seen me do it. And so, for me, some of those sacrifices looked like, it looked like giving up some sleep. It looked like getting up early on days. It looked like staying up late when I didn't want to. It looked like instead of laying down and napping with the baby, I was going to get some work done. It looked like getting out of my comfort zone and networking with people that maybe I never would have networked with before. Like, literally actually getting out of the house and taking my kids to the playground. I also had a family meeting, and I think this is really important. Have a meeting with your family and get their buy-in. Show them why you're doing this, where you're going, and what that means for them. We've had so many different family meetings along the way. You know, when we hit Emerald, we took our kids to the Great Wolf Lodge. So they knew when I was working for that, that when we hit it, we were going to take them there. When we hit diamond, my kids got quads. Like there was always something along the way that they knew, like what we were working for, what our family stood for. I also was willing to offload some things. Okay, so when I hit Ruby, you guys talk about hating laundry. When I hit Ruby, one of the very first things I offloaded was laundry. I hired a college student to come to my house. She would wash, fold, put away all the laundry, and it was done, and it was amazing. I, to this day, still have someone that comes, folds my laundry, puts it away, because I don't want to do that, because I want to spend time with my kids. Offloading could also mean in your family that like you're having your kids help with certain chores or tasks or different things. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything, and eventually getting to that point where you're like, hey, I'm going to hire someone, because you're blessing them with that money, and then they're able to help you so you can spend more time with your family. And you're going to hear from Bree next, but I remember when she shared on a Zoom call, it basically gave me so much permission and freedom to be a working mom. She talked about, go ahead and hire someone to watch your kids for a few hours so that you can get some solid work done, because someone is fully present playing with your kids there. You're blessing them with the income, and you're able to work more for your family. Or if you can't do that at the moment, find someone to trade off watching kids with. Like I felt so much freedom in just letting that go of like, oh my goodness, I don't have to do everything. They're giving me permission to work and to run after my dreams. And as someone who always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, that was a little bit hard. Something else that I realized is I had to gain a lot of self-awareness. Some of you, when you get into real like high intensity, you think that it automatically equals chaos, because you start losing your cool on your kids and you're getting mad that they're interrupting a call or they're doing this, that, and the other thing. And then you feel guilty as a mom. But the more that you work on your mindset, the more that you're self-aware, you can start to realize why you're actually being triggered. And it's probably not your kids. Okay. It's something else that is going on in your life. So gaining that self-awareness is really going to help you to be able to show up even better. Here's another thing. If you have younger kids, give them 20 minutes of your time. I promise you, like 20 minutes is magic. Okay. And tell them, set a timer and say, I'm going to put my phone down over here for 20 minutes. It could even be 10. Honestly, I'm telling you, even 10 minutes is amazing. Give them your undivided attention and then say, now then you're going to play by yourself, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get some work done. Their love tank is bursting. Okay. Like they're so excited that you spent that time with them. And then you don't have all the mom guilt, because it's like, I actually give them undivided attention. Like even when you were a stay-at-home mom before working, like when did you actually do that? Right. And so we like to trip ourselves up with this guilt. So that's something that can really help you. And like Christine said, on Saturday mornings, my husband would take my kids out for a few hours and I would batch work and I would get it done. I would plan out posts for the entire week so that it was done and I didn't have to think about it. And so I think, yeah, I could keep going, but I'm not, because I'm going to turn it over to our friend Bree and she's going to share with you. Oh, also, you hear some of those things about planning out. I just want to preface this with that I was a very, very disorganized stay-at-home mom. I still to this day am a very disorganized person. You're going to hear from Bree and she's going to share with you some amazing tips, but she is way more streamlined. She's way more organized. She's way more type A. I'm more like fly by the seat of my pants kind of person. Now I did have some structure. Like I was planning out posts in advance. I was doing things outside of my normal characteristics. So when you hear both, Alita's more like a wild, crazy person too, a little disorganized. We're all working on it. So when you hear Bree, maybe you resonate more with some of the things that she's sharing, but no, it doesn't matter your personality type. It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mom, doesn't matter if you're a working mom, doesn't matter if you're organized, disorganized. You can be successful at this. So I'm going to go ahead and let my amazing friend Bree take it away. She is a diamond. She has 3 amazing kiddos, and she is literally one of the best moms I have ever seen in my entire life. She loves her kids so, so much, but she also works really, really hard. So go ahead, Bree.
Ooh, here we are. All right. I'm so proud of y'all. I wish that I could just like reach through and grab every single one of your faces and tell you, especially if you're on the East Coast, it's 20 of 10 and you're here and you're showing up and you're doing the things. And this is what it takes to move your needle. It's these things, right? Being on the call, taking one thing, 1% habit increases. I know when we're in things like this, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get off. I'm going to be diamond in the morning. I'm going to do all the things. And then we get off and it's like, oh my gosh, I know my kids are on the other side of that door. And then I remember how tired I am. And I remember I got to get up in the morning. And so first of all, I'm proud of y'all. I know what it takes to schedule things in, and it's important that you show up. I love that this is talking about business and boundaries tonight. I literally sent a little message in our group chat. Y'all, I came in hot. I'm still in my little league gear. And one of the things that I love about this is that Megan said that that's all she ever wanted to be, was a stay-at-home mom. I, on the other hand, never really dreamed of being a mom. It's not something that, I mean, I think I thought that maybe it would happen. On the other hand, I like had my entire life planned out. Has anybody else like that? Drop a 1 in the comments if you were like, all right, I'm going to college, I'm getting a teaching degree, I'm going to teach for this many years, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, that didn't happen. That was me. Okay. I had all 3 of my babies in 3 years. They're almost 10, 11, and 13. Not my plan, God's plan. I love it now, but at the time I was freaking out a little bit. Okay. So 3 kids in 3 years. In that same 3-year time span, I was diagnosed with 4 different autoimmune disorders. And my oldest daughter went through her first anaphylactic food allergy attack. You talk about taking all the plans that you have in life and just kind of mumble jumbling them up and like spitting them back out. That's what I felt like. I felt like my life was a country song. Said I was never going to date a farmer, met one at the county fair and ended up marrying him, living in the country, thought I was going to live in the city, all these things, right? And so when I found myself there, I found myself at that place, I knew that I was praying for an answer. And it was literally, have y'all ever seen that GIF where it's like, the man is praying for an answer and he's in his little like rowboat and a cruise ship comes by and he's like, oh, no, that's not what I'm praying for. And the cruise ship goes by like, hey, hello, I'm right here. That's what Plexus was for me. So fast forward a couple of years, I'm praying for this answer. Plexus literally gets dropped in my lap. I was that person that we all have that's like, oh, turn off the subscription, not answering back. Please don't message me about the business. I will never do this. I was that girl. So first tip, y'all have somebody on your team right now that is that person and you are so frustrated and you're not messaging back and all the things, message them back. Love people where they are at because they could be your next diamond and you could be changing their life if we just get over ourselves, right? And we just show up for people in the moments. So when my kids were 2, 3, and 5, that's when I started Plexus. I was not a network marketer. I was the most skeptical person for network marketing that you could ever believe. And here's what I want to tell y'all tonight. There is nothing stopping you from being Christine, from being Elita, from being Megan, from being the person that you were destined to be other than belief. Belief in yourself, belief in the products, belief in network marketing. And if you are not where you want to be, it's because you don't have the belief in one of those 3 areas. And I want you to get real clear with yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, if somebody were to come to you right now and be like, oh, hey, the products are kind of expensive, and go back, look at your last rejection messages. Are you like, oh, okay, when you have the money, come back to me. When you have the time, come back to me. Check your belief in those 3 areas because it will cause you to show up in the way that you want to show up. But here's the other thing. I want you to give yourself permission for your life tonight to change into something that you didn't expect it to be. You do not have to keep going down the same path if it's not where you want to be, regardless of what people in your town say, regardless of what your parents say, regardless of what your family says, regardless of what you thought that you had in your life. So many of you are praying for an answer right now, and this could be your answer, but you won't get out of your way. And I want you to get out of your way because the things that are standing there, the boundaries that you need to set, y'all, you're one decision away from that. I promise you. That's all that's standing there for you. Okay. I also want to give yourself permission tonight that as a mom, You are allowed to do things for yourself, because those things that fill you up, like Megan talked about, those things that fill your soul, that allows you to be a better mom. Because I've been able to set boundaries in this business, my son knew tonight I left his ball game early. I drove home early because this was important, not just to me, not to just this call, but also for my kids. I want them to know that I have a passion that fills me up. I don't want them growing up thinking, oh, a job is just a job to get money. A job doesn't have to be a job just to get money. A job can be something that fills your soul and gives you a fire to wake up in the morning. That's what I want my kids to see at the end of every single day. Give yourself permission for them to see you. Do not feel an ounce of guilt that you are on your phone. How many of you, drop a 2 in the comments if you've ever had somebody like, oh, get off your phone. Are you on your phone again? Y'all, I love that my kids get to see me be on my phone and make, as Elita says, baller money, and create an income and an impact from the same device that most people spend 18 hours a day watching TikTok on. Come on, right? You have no idea, and I'm going to share this with you real quick before we get off. I have this whole page of notes. I haven't even touched on any of them, but here's what I want you to know tonight. I hope that you never find struggle. I hope that you never find yourself in a position where you've had to make choices that you don't want to have to make. But right now, there's a hard in your life that probably is not the hard that you really have coming. Okay. 6 years ago, when I really started diving into all the things, and we had gone Emerald, and I knew that I needed to start showing up as a leader, and I knew I needed to start being more for my team. I thought that my hard choice was staying up a little bit later. I thought that my hard choice was when my kids were taking a nap and I couldn't wait to sit down too, that instead I chose to turn on a training video. I thought that my hard was to make an event or to show up and do something with our team instead of just chill out because I wanted to relax. Y'all, those things that felt hard in that moment, they were not the hard that I had coming. The hard that I had coming was when COVID hit and restaurants closed and schools were not in operation. And my sweet husband, that's a 5th generation dairy farmer, had to make the choice on what he was going to do with our farm. It devastated him that he had to sell the cows and that our family had to make that decision. But in that moment of extreme hard for our family, he didn't have to go and get another job. He didn't have to walk away from our family. He got to be uber present with my kids. And now we don't have to make the hard choices of who's going to be at a different job. If I was going to have to go back to teaching, if I was going to have to spend my days away, or he was going to have to spend his days away. Instead, the hard, and not that every single thing is easy for us because of Plexus, but the hard in our day right now is who's going to go with which kid to which town to which game. It is a completely different version of hard because we set boundaries. Because like Christine said, I chose to show up instead of watching a movie. Because we chose to have one night a week for date nights watching our favorite show instead of 7. There is a hard that you are facing right now that you're only really making hard in your mind, okay? Every single one of us can come on here and be like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is the schedule that you need to follow. These are the things that you can miss and not miss. The reality is that only you can decide that. Because at the end of the day, you can watch every training video, you can listen to every podcast, you can watch every single book. And if you have not decided that your goals and your dreams and your family are not important enough, no amount of listen is ever going to make you do the do or do the did, right? That's what we want for you. Because we've experienced it and because we're living it, we know, I mean, y'all, so these women are some of my absolute best friends. If you could hang out with us for like 30 seconds, you'd be like, oh, I can go diamond. Like if they can go diamond, I'm gonna be diamond tomorrow. because you can. Okay. If you don't have that belief, borrow the belief. We've got enough for you. We've seen the impact. And I'm going to echo what Megan said. If you're a mom, if you're a grandma, if you've got kids that you love, the best thing in my world, and I'm watching one of my girls go through something really hard right now, but I'm watching her show up as a better version of herself in these hard moments because she's gotten to watch me grow too. That's what I want for every single one of you. So tonight, decide that this is going to be the last Zoom that you attend, that you don't get off and go into immediate action. Message the person that you're thinking about. Who do you want to do this with? Set up the schedule, right? Here's the last thing that I'll end with, because I think that this is always something that really, really hits me. A lot of y'all have millionaire dreams and you have minimum wage work ethic at the end of the day. So which one are you going to up level to, or are you going to downgrade to? You are the only person that gets to decide that at the end of the day. It is not your upline's job. It's not your downline's job. It's not your sideline's job. Those things are really important, and who we're with are really important. But the rest of it, it's up to you. And you 1000% can rise to the occasion. All right, Meg, I'm back to you.
Okay, well, I feel like I'm so inspired after hearing that. I don't really have much else that I could possibly add, but what I want you guys to hear the most from every single one of us tonight is that your dreams are possible, that they are worth fighting for, that the short-term sacrifices are worth the long-term gains. Do not give up what you want most for the future for what you want right now. Do not do that. You never know what is coming down the path for you or your family, like Bree talked about. You don't know about that hard. But what if you set your family up for massive success because of this? You made the sacrifices, you made the trade-offs before you knew what was coming for your family, and you were better prepared for it. It didn't have to be devastating for you. So take something that you learned tonight and apply it. Take whatever your biggest takeaway from tonight was, write it down, message somebody, say, this was my takeaway. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm going to run after my dreams, and I'm going to pursue it with a passion that no one is going to be able to stop me. So we are so excited for you guys to build the life of your dreams, to build your businesses to the top, and we can't wait to hear about your success. So thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. Thank you so much for everyone who is sharing tonight. We hope that this inspired you, and we'll talk to you guys soon.